What's going on, guys? So in today's edition of Sasuke Jinraiden, we have another very interesting moment to go over, which is essentially going to be Itachi Uchiha's prophecy. And as you're watching this video, a lot of you guys are probably going to be thinking back to Itachi's speech about reality that he gave to Sasuke about one person's reality being another person's illusion. You're going to be looking at what Itachi is telling Sasuke, and if you've ever watched Game of Thrones, that meme about you know nothing Jon Snow, that's probably going to come into your head, because essentially Sasuke knew nothing about what it was that Itachi was truly trying to tell him. And what I like about what we're getting right here is that this is another pendulum shift for Sasuke Uchiha. So obviously, if you've not been caught up with the Sasuke Jinraiden story, I recommend going to the homepage of the YouTube channel, scrolling down to the Naruto novel section, and looking for the playlist titled Sasuke Jinraiden. That way you can start the story from the beginning and get caught up. That way you can join in on these awesome discussions here. So where this scene picks up is right where the last one left off. So essentially, Kina has been kidnapped, and Sasuke and Reishi end up rushing to try and go save Kina. And as they arrive at that battlefield where all of those rain ninja were slaughtered several years ago before the main events of the Naruto story even took place, we get this very touching scene where Sasuke is looking over all the corpses that are on the ground, and Sasuke is completely confused because he's looking at it and he's saying, wait a second, the rain ninja were supposed to have been slaughtered over a decade ago, so what in the world just happened here? Why are there more fresh corpses here? Why has the chakra been ripped out of their bodies? I was with Reishi the whole time. I thought that Reishi was the one that was controlling Rowan, so what in the world is happening? And all of a sudden, as Sasuke is walking through and he's checking all of these corpses, he sees that Reishi has made a beeline over towards his younger brother Kina, and then that's when the reality starts to step in with Sasuke, and he realizes that when Reishi was given the poem to him, it wasn't necessarily Reishi making a confession, but instead Sasuke took the wrong thing from the poem. What Sasuke took from it was that Reishi was confessing to the murders. What Reishi was actually saying is that no matter what it is that his younger brother Kina does, there is nothing in the world that would ever cause him to betray him, and as his older brother, he will always look for ways to protect him. And as Sasuke comes to this realization, he realizes that his earlier suspicion about Reishi being Itachi and Kina being the younger version of Sasuke, all of that was true. Just in the same way that Reishi was taking on all that hatred and resentment in order to protect Kina, Itachi did the same thing for Sasuke. And as this happens, we once again see Sasuke get another reaction, and Sasuke during this time starts thinking about Itachi as Sasuke's eyes begin to start pinging again, because every small thing that makes him realize that Itachi was actually carrying that burden for him, that Obito wasn't lying to him, it's making the pains from that Mangekyo trying to manifest that much more unbearable. So with the scene and the context finally being set, we're going to be looking at Itachi's prophecy and how Itachi's warning about reality was something that Sasuke completely missed, and how Sasuke's coming to grips right now. So it's here I'm going to begin reading the scene from the novel, then I'm going to come back to you guys with my thoughts, and it's here I'm going to begin quoting. Then it was Kina who committed those murders, I asked. Reishi didn't answer. He just kept his eyes focused in front of him. I really was an idiot, I thought to myself. I had jumped to the conclusion by myself and felt an arbitrary sense of solidarity towards Reishi, trying to share my selfish daydream of mine with him. Every human being lives their lives bound by his own knowledge and his own experience, which he wrongly names reality. It's possible that your reality is nothing but a mirage. Itachi had told me those words during our last fight. Ah, Itachi. It really seemed that once again he was right. I couldn't distinguish reality from a mirage anymore. Reishi's words also came to my mind. I wonder if his wasn't an attempt to suppress him. The grass, soaked in the younger brother's blood, was always blooming inside his heart. As an everlasting curse, it served as a reminder to prevent him from killing Kina. For me to be able to support him firmly when that moment comes, to make me a brother with a clear perception of his needs. Reishi had said. In which way would I be able to surpass Itachi, I thought. How could I manage to endure the pain that was tearing my chest apart? For the first time, Reishi's back look big in front of my eyes and it overlapped with Itachi's. Going on in that way, Reishi had always been protecting his brother. Even if he had been derided by Kina and considered a coward by the villagers, he had stuck audaciously to his duties, just as when he patiently boiled the medicinal herbs that he cooked until his broth had vanished. No words of thanks for that young man who had always concealed his nature, without being treated with respect, not even by the person in the world who he loved the most. Nevertheless, Reishi told me these words: "Sasuke, I beg you, don't say anything to Kina." Reishi had asked. He and Itachi, they really were identical. "Okay, don't worry," I answered. From behind his shoulders, I had the feeling that he was smiling. End quote. So I want you guys to think about that moment where when Naruto is in Sage mode and you get this shot of Naruto from the back and you see how Jiraiya and Minato's ghosts are basically silhouettes over Naruto's body, showing that he had surpassed him. Sasuke has a very similar moment here where he's looking at Reishi's body, in particular he's looking at his back, and Sasuke is seeing Itachi's silhouette right on top of Reishi's body. And I really like that because right now Sasuke is once again getting another reminder of just how far Itachi was willing to go in order to protect him. So much in the same way that Kina did not know that Reishi was keeping this secret from Kina in order to protect him, and Kina is being called the son of a murderer. Kina is looking down at him. He's been shouldering all of this in an effort to try and protect Kina. And the sad thing about all this is that Reishi had to endure all of these harsh words coming from his younger brother, who was looking at him saying that you're not much worth of anything. And I like this. I like this right here because just as Reishi is very selfless, so too was Itachi. And in both cases, the younger brother did not realize what it was that the older brother was sacrificing in order to accommodate the future that they wanted for the younger brother. And I like how Sasuke during this time, he goes from being on that verge of evil, wanting to see everybody destroyed, to once again, he's in that calming presence to somebody that reminds him of Itachi. And so the pendulum shifts all the way back over because now he's looking at it and he's understanding, and you just continue to see Sasuke's two natures at war with one another in this story. And that's one of those things where it really makes for a very good internal conflict. And I like how Kina and the Rowan creature are basically used as a mirroring of the conflict that Sasuke has inside of his own soul, because on one hand he wants to destroy the Hidden Leaf Village, on the other hand Sasuke understands that that's not what Itachi would have wanted for him, and the situation that the Kodan clan has is very similar to the situation that the Uchiha clan has. And so it's one of those things where Sasuke's looking at it and he's seeing how things would have played out for the Uchiha clan, and he's struggling to reconcile between those two realities. And that goes back to what Itachi told him. Every human being lives their lives bounded by his or her own knowledge and his or her own experience, which they wrongly named to be reality. It's possible that your reality is nothing more than an illusion. What Itachi was telling him is a central theme to the entire Naruto franchise, which is that a ninja must always learn to see past deception. In this case, Sasuke has to understand that things aren't always as black and white as Sasuke would like to see them. Sasuke's very direct and to the point. The world doesn't operate like that. And that's one of those things that this version of Sasuke right now, he understands it, but at the same time, he doesn't understand it. And I personally love this because as Sasuke gets more information here inside of this village and he's able to see some of the darker aspects of humanity, we tragically start seeing him progress closer and closer towards being the Sasuke who dons those akatsuki robes. However, I want to know from you guys, how did you guys feel about Itachi's forewarning? And what do you guys think about that quote about reality? Do you think it was good writing for Sasuke to think back to that quote back then? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.